understand this. We don't understand how much whites own in this country. We say, they own a lot of money. What is it that they own? I did some research. I went into the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange is dominated by white people. Dominated by white people. And I looked at the reserves that's in the JSE. The first company is the BHB Group. BHB. You know, the worst thing that has happened in this country to the black businessman is BEE. Really. BEE has made you a partner with a white business. He still becomes a producer. He still does a core business. You are just wrapping it up for him. Come on. That's what it's all about. You're just wrapping his product. But he's making the money. That's what BEE has done to black business people in this country. So we should be ashamed of what this Ramaphosa ANC has made us out to be. If we want to get access to this economy, this is where we need to go. BHP Bulletin is number one. Do you know what's the reserves of BHP Bulletin on the stock exchange? Mr. Dumisani, do you know? It's 2.8 trillion rands. And the budget of our country, excluding the payment of loans, is 1 trillion rand. Are you hearing me? Just one company. The reserves in the JSE is 2.8 trillion. Second one is a ProSure Group. And their reserves is 2.6 trillion. ABI is 1.8 trillion. Naspers is 1.4 trillion. British American Tobacco, 1.3 trillion. Trillion, not billion, trillion. You are getting excited that you're a millionaire? These people are trillionaires. You know what's a trillion? You don't know what's a trillion. A trillion is 1,000 billion. And what's a billion? 1,000 million. You know that? That's what these people have a passion for them. And that is where Umkhonto we Sizwe comes into the picture. You see, when President Jacob Zuma was the president of this country, we were paying 11 rands a litre for petrol. Then the white ladies went and sang, Zuma must go, Zuma must go, Zuma must go. You remember that song? Yes. Eh? Zuma must go. Now the same ones are saying, Zuma must come, Zuma must come, Zuma must come. Because petrol then was 11 rand, today it's 26 rands a litre. Do you know that the media carried this week a article that said that the rand is starting to weaken because the poll results are showing that MK is going to take over the ANC. Yeah, in KZN, the polls are saying MK is going to get the largest slice of the vote. The percentage, the move to MK is growing every week. Every week. By the time we reach the elections, the polls are going to show that MK is going to get 51 and more percent in the elections. That's what the polls are saying. And we're a new party. It's just 4 months old. So you've got a situation now where the newspaper is saying that because the polls are saying Zuma's party is now going to take over the ANC, the rand is going to get affected. I ask you this question, when we went into stage 16 load shedding in this country, stage 16 load shedding, it did nothing to the rand. This rand is very funny. Only when it hears Zuma, then this rand starts getting jittery. Only when it hears Zuma. But when the load shedding goes to stage 16, nothing happens to the rand. When 28 banks in the world, including banks in South Africa, like your Investec and your Standard and your ABSA, when they started colluding with each other to manipulate the interest rates, when that came out, it did nothing to the rand. The interest rates, when that came out, it did nothing to the rand. Do you notice how the media, and I'm speaking to the intelligentsia here, how the media is captured? But let me give you one more piece of advice. One of the funders of the CR17 campaign. Now, I don't know about you, but you might not know what is CR17. Anybody here don't know what that is? Then you're in the wrong place. Then you're in the wrong place. You need to go sit in a DA meeting. This is not your meeting. Because we as black people, we got to know our history. We got to know what's happening in the parties that claimed to liberate us and free us from the shackles of apartheid. If we don't know that, then we're failing ourselves, we're failing our nation, we're failing our children. CR17 was a campaign launched by Ramaphosa to win an ANC conference in 2017. In that conference, he was funded close to R1 billion. Businessman that gave 10,000 and 5,000. Listen. Close to R1 billion was given to Ramaphosa to win an ANC election. By which business? Not you guys. There was only one black businessman there. There was Patrice Motsepe. He's the only one. The brother-in-law of Ramaphosa. The rest was Oppenheimer's, was Naspers, all those people. But one of those funders is a guy called Johnny Copeland. Johnny Copeland, if you didn't know who he is the owner of ENCA. Hello? A newspaper, a media house in this country gives Ramaphosa 2 million rands to win an ANC election. And you're telling me that news house is not going to promote Ramaphosa even up to today? What is their agenda?